The man you want to become is waiting on the other side of the decisions you are too weak to make. Look at your life right now. The mediocre relationships, the goals you keep putting off, the potential you can feel slipping away every single day. What's keeping you from the life you actually want? Because it's not lack of information and it's not lack of opportunity. It's the bridges you refuse to burn, the comfortable excuses you hide behind, the weakness you have learned to accept. Today, we burn the bridges to your weaker self. I'm you, and this is the Underdog Project. In our last video, we talked about recognizing the invisible prison of false masculinity. If you haven't watched that, pause this and go check it out first. The link is in the description. Today, we're taking the next step, and it's probably the hardest one. Because recognizing your prison is one thing, but actually rejecting the comfort of those familiar walls, that's another level. I learned this the hard way. After realizing how much of my identity was built around being the perfect kid from my chaotic childhood, I knew something had to change. But change is terrifying, isn't it? There's this quote I love that goes, "It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that things are difficult." In other words, things seem hard because we're afraid to try, and not the other way around. The rejection phase is all about daring to cut ties with the parts of your lives that keep you small. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's start with the biggest lie you've been told, that comfort is the goal. Every commercial, every movie, every influence around you pushes the same message, that life should be easy and that comfort is king. But here's the brutal truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're choosing to stay the same. Think about it like this. When you work out, what builds muscle? Comfort? No. It's the resistance, it's the discomfort, it's the burn. Your mind and character work exactly the same way. Everyone knows David Goggins, former Navy SEAL and ultramarathon runner, and he puts it perfectly. If you can get through doing things that you hate to do, on the other side of that is greatness. Let me break this down for you with an example any 16-year-old can understand. Imagine two identical guys, both wanting to get stronger. The first guy lifts weights that feel comfortable, never pushes past what's easy. The second guy consistently chooses ways that challenge him, that makes him uncomfortable. After 1 year, which of the two is stronger? Obviously, the second guy. But here's what most people miss, that this applies to every area of your life. The rejection phase is about identifying where you've been choosing comfort over growth, and then deliberately rejecting that comfort. Now let's talk about the most powerful bridges keeping you stuck, your excuses. And we all have them. The stories we tell ourselves about why we can't change. I don't have time. I don't have the right connections. I had a rough childhood. Or I'm just not talented enough. Well, that's just how I am. But here's the thing about excuses. They might sound like reasons, but they're actually permissions. Permissions to stay weak, to avoid responsibility, to remain exactly where you are right now. Let me share a story with you. There was this kid in our community. His name is Marcos. He was 16 years old, smart as hell, but failing school. Why? His excuse was solid. Absent father, mom working 2 jobs, and he lived in a rough neighborhood. And those are all true, all valid challenges. But what was he doing with those facts? He was using them as permanent excuse to fail. One day I asked him a question that changed everything. I said to him, "Marcos, are there other kids with absent fathers who are succeeding right now?" And he knew the answer was yes. I said, "Are there kids with single moms working multiple jobs who are crushing it in school?" And again, he knew the answer was yes. So the difference isn't your circumstances, it's what you are choosing to do with them. And that moment, that's when it clicked for him. His circumstances were real, but using them as excuses was a choice. A choice he could reject. This is what I call taking complete responsibility. And it doesn't mean everything is your fault. It just means that no matter how your problem started, fixing them starts with you. As I always say, It doesn't matter what happened in your past, and it matters even less why it happened. The only thing that matters is that you are your own man. You can choose whatever you do with whatever you're getting. Now we come to the hardest part, actually burning those bridges. Think about this. In the old days, when armies went to battle, smart generals would burn the bridges after their soldiers crossed. Why? Simple. It meant no one could run away. They had no choice but to win or die trying. And this is the mentality you need to adopt. The bridges to your weaker self need to be completely destroyed. No way back. I'm talking about deleting the dating apps that let you hide behind the screen instead of meeting people in real life. Blocking the toxic friends who drag you into the same destructive patterns over and over again. Throwing away the video games that have become your escape from building a real life. Or cancelling the streaming services that steal your time and motivation. Or maybe if you think you're a little bit fat, emptying your kitchen of the junk food that keeps your body weak and your mind foggy. And I'm not saying these things are inherently bad. I'm saying they're bridges to your weaker self if they become crutches. And this isn't about small changes. This is about creating a point of no return. A line in the sand where you say, that version of me is dead. He doesn't exist anymore. Let me tell you about the most important bridge I burned. For years, I had this habit of starting projects and never finishing them. I always had a perfect excuse. I'm just exploring options, or it's because I'm a creative person. But one day I realized this wasn't exploration. It was fear. Fear of commitment, fear of failure, even fear of being judged. So I did something drastic. I announced publicly to everyone I knew that I was launching the Underdog project. I put money in it I couldn't afford to lose into it. I burned the bridge to my wishy-washy self. And you know what happened? When retreat wasn't an option, I found strength I never knew I had. So what bridges do you need to burn? Now let's get practical. How do you actually reject your weaker self? I have developed a 4-step process that works, and I call it the burn method. The B stands for brutally identify. First, you need to brutally identify the bridges to your weaker self. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Take out your phone right now or your notebook and make a list. What habits keep you weak? What relationships drain your energy? What excuses have become your go-to? And be specific. Social media is too vague. Scrolling through Instagram for 2 hours before bed, comparing myself to others, is specific. The U is for understand the reward. This one is crucial because every negative pattern has a payoff, or you wouldn't do it. Gaming for hours might give you a sense of achievement you're not getting in real life. That toxic friendship might make you feel needed or superior. And that procrastination habit might protect you from the possibility of failure. Figure out what reward you are getting and you can find better ways to get the same feeling. The R stands for replacement strategy. Because here's the thing, if you just remove something from your life without replacing it, that empty space will get filled with something else. Usually it's the same old bad habit coming right back into your life. If you're quitting social media, what will you do with those freed up hours? Or if you're cutting off toxic friends, what healthy relationships will you invest in? If you are stopping a bad habit, what good habit will take its place? And the N stands for no way back. This is where the bridge burning happens. Make it difficult or even impossible to go back. Delete apps, block numbers, throw things away. Tell everyone about your decision so you're accountable. You have to create consequences for returning to the old patterns. Maybe you have a friend who holds $100 or $1,000 of your money that you only get back if you stick to your commitment. Whatever it takes to make retreat more painful than moving forward. Let me give you a real example. One of our community members, Alex, he was addicted to gaming. He gamed for 6+ hours a day. His burn method plan looked like this. Brutally identify. He played games to avoid the anxiety of building his real life. Understand the payoff. Games gave him instant achievement and community he couldn't find elsewhere. The R for replacement strategy is that he joined a local boxing gym for achievement and community in the real world. And the N is no way back. He sold his gaming setup and used the money to pay for 6 months of boxing classes up front. 6 months later, Alex had actual muscles instead of virtual achievements. He had real friends instead of online teammates. and the confidence that comes from facing challenges instead of avoiding them. He was a total different man. Look, I get it. Burning bridges is scary. There's comfort in knowing you can always go back to your old ways if things get too hard. But that's exactly the problem. Growth happens when you remove the option of retreat. When you commit so fully to becoming a stronger version of yourself that you make it impossible to turn back. When I burned my bridges, when I rejected the victim mentality from my childhood, and when I cut off the friends who encouraged mediocrity, and when I eliminated the habits that kept me weak, that's when everything changed. And of course, it's not overnight, and certainly not without pain, but definitely, unmistakably changed. Remember this, your current limitations are largely self-imposed. The prison that we talked about in the last video, you have the power to reject it, to walk away, to burn it into the ground. There's this great quote that says, to learn how to fly, you first need to learn how to stand, then walk, then run, and then climb. You can't just jump straight into the air and fly. Makes sense, right? You have to master the basics before you can do the amazing stuff. Rejecting your weaker self is learning to stand. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. In the next video, we take step 3, rebuild. Once you've burned the bridges to your weaker self, we will build the foundation of unshakable discipline that will support you for life. So if you're serious about this journey, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And drop a comment down below with one bridge you are committing to burn this week. I love to hear those stories. Or send me a DM, maybe. But be specific. I read every comment and our community is here to support you. For those ready to go deeper, check out our free community with an exclusive and free discipline framework. Also, that link is in the description. And this isn't going to be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. So burn those bridges and become the man you were meant to be. Until the next one, I'm Jung, and this was the Underdog Project. Stay strong, stay determined, and stay free.